Welcome to It's Happening. My name is Jared, and today's episode, or this episode, I am going to start a new series on it'll be Bible topics. I want to call it the Unseen Realm, but since that is the book, I don't know how well that'll go, but I'll try and just say this is going to be the unseen realm since I'm talking about it. I don't think that will cause a copyright issue or anything since I'm giving them credit. Anyways, the reason I'm saying that is because most of my childhood life, when I was going to church and I had certain questions, I couldn't get them answered from the pastors, the preachers, the leaders of the church. So most of the time when I'd ask the questions that had anything to do with the supernatural realm, they would tend to try and get me to believe that it was more of God, what's the term? My brain today has been so bad. That was just their way of describing it, so it stood out to you, or I would get them to tell me that that's just supernatural nonsense. That it was that they meant something else, or that in certain parts of the supernatural, when they're talking about it, that they were really talking about humans. But when you read the Bible, it doesn't connect that way. So I was confused for so long. I had a very hard time trying to seek God because every time I was trying to seek God, I was coming into things that were very supernatural that I was being told that I should not even pay attention to. Well, I started paying attention to that stuff. I started paying more and more attention to that stuff the more they told me not to pay attention to that stuff. Because to me, it seems like it's in there for a reason. And while I still don't completely understand all of it or have a complete grasp of exactly what it was or exactly what it could be, I have found books that are finally teaching me or showing me the perspectives that sound right to me. And the way he puts it and the way he connects it in this book, the way he connects it to scripture, that is what has been helping me tremendously. It has helped me see that there is an unseen realm, that it's not just some fantasy. It is fantasy in terms. I mean, obviously, if you read the Bible, but it's an historic book. And when we take ourselves out of our own time periods and try and put ourselves in the writer's time period and what they were living through and what they were witnessing, then things can start to make more sense. And when you start learning that a lot of these terms are plural, and that's what really started getting to me. Well, because I was constantly told about there's only one God, the Most High. That is it. He is the Most High. But there are other divine beings. It talks about it over and over again, and that's what I want to go through. And that's a lot of parts. That was some of my biggest struggle in the Bible. So I'm gonna do a series, and this is gonna be a multiple series because it's gonna be about a lot of stuff in this book connected. So I'm gonna have to do it in portions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read some of this and just kind of talk about it. Just kind of point out some of the things that have helped me and helped me understand more and help me see it more. I mean, I'm halfway through the book and I completely see the Bible different, not differently. I don't want to say I see it differently. It has opened my eyes now. It's that saying, what is it? I was blind, but now I see. This is it. If you have not read this book and you have been struggling with the Bible, especially any of the supernatural part of it, and your preachers and pastors are telling you to ignore it, you have got to read his book. It is the unseen. Hold on, let me make sure the mirror is right for you guys so y'all can see it right. All right, yeah, you can see. All right, yeah. There's the Unseen Realm by Michael S. Heiser. Okay, what I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm just gonna kind of go in here and I'm gonna read a couple of things that I have highlighted that stood out to me that helped me understand. And I'm just, like I said, it's gonna be a series. So this is the first part of that series. So best way to do that is to start at the beginning, right? Let me get something for my mic stand. I've got a new mic stand coming in, a boom stand, to where I won't have to do this, and I won't have to, because I move around so much, as most of y'all probably already noticed. I need it to be where it's in my face, and also how my desk is set up. I'm having a hard time with moving my mic. Okay, so the best place is to start at the beginning, right? So let's do that. All right. I know y'all can't see this, and I tried to find where I could pull it up on here for y'all. And maybe what I need to do after this episode is go ahead and buy a digital copy. That way I can pull the book up and y'all can see it as I'm going. But for this episode, I'll just do it this way. It starts off as God's entourage. Children often ask, what was there before God made the world? The answer most adults would give is that God was there. That's true, but incomplete. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. This back. But incomplete. God had company, and I'm not talking about the other members of the Trinity. God's family. The biblical answer is that the heavenly host was with God before creation. In fact, they witnessed it. What God says to Job in Job 38:4-7 is clear on that point. Where were you at my laying of the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you possess understanding. Who determined its measurement? Yes, you do know. Or who stretched the measuring line upon it? Or what were its bases sunk? Or what? Sorry about that. Sometimes I have problems reading some words. Or what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars were singing together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. All the sons of God, the morning stars. That's very important to remember that multiple times it's plural. And all in our minds as humans, we like to, and especially if you think of there being other divine beings, we like to think there's angels, and we know there's fallen angels, so there's demons, but do we ever think of them as divine beings like they really are? When God laid the foundations of the earth, the sons of God were there, shouting for joy. But who are the sons of God? Obviously, they're not humans. This is before the creation of the world. We might think of them as angels, but that wouldn't be quite correct either. The unseen world has a hierarchy, something reflected in such terms as archangel versus angel. The hierarchy is sometimes difficult for us to discern in the Old Testament, since we aren't accustomed to viewing the unseen world like a dynastic household. More on that. So when we get into the, like I said, I was talking about the plural. Here he lines that out for you right here. The Semitic world, the sons of God, Hebrew, B'nai Elohim. I don't know if I pronounced that right, because I don't speak Hebrew, but that's a phrase used to identify divine beings with higher level responsibilities or jurisdictions. The angel in Hebrew looks like Malak or Malak, describes an important but lesser task, delivering messages. I mean, how many times over and over again are angels described as messengers? In Job 38, the sons of God are referred to as morning stars. That same description is found outside the Bible in ancient texts from the biblical world. Ancient people thought the stars were living entities. Their reasoning was that many stars moved. That was a sign of life in the ancient mind. Stars were the shining glory of living beings. The stars also inhabited the divine realm, literally, in the sense that they existed off Earth. Ancients believed that divine beings lived far away from humans, in remote places where humans could not, well, human habitation was not possible. Morning stars are the stars one sees over the horizon just before the sun appears in the morning. They signaled new life, a new day. And don't hesitate. Let's talk about this back and forth. Like I said, this I'm trying to open dialogue, trying to learn. I'm trying to grow. I'm not trying to just say this is it. This is all. You got to listen to me. You got to listen to him. I'm saying this has helped me tremendously understand the Bible more, and to, when I read it, to really see it in the unseen realm sense, to see it in the supernatural sense that it is, that it was written in, and that our ancestors, they wrote things they saw with their eyes. And I mean, and how many visions of stuff that they have seen that are very supernatural. They're now, if you read this book, those visions will start to make more sense to you as well. It blows my mind how much the church over time has manipulated the parts of the Bible that are the most important for us to learn, and manipulated it to such a point to where some of you viewing this will think I am spreading misinformation or spreading this. And that's not what I'm trying to do. But that's how they've got people convinced that the supernatural doesn't exist, yet they believe in a supernatural God with supernatural powers. But they want to deny all the other supernatural creatures, beings, divine beings, fallen angels, whatever you want to call it. They're all over the Bible. And that's why I always had a problem with it. So I had to start seeking myself. I had to start digging deeper. I had to start learning. I had to start asking questions. And I've never in my life felt more closer to God. And you have no idea how many people have told me that this path is not a path that you want to go down, that you're opening doors that are dangerous. I thank God that I opened those doors that those people think are dangerous, because I have a relationship with God today. And I never would have had that relationship had I listened to those people, which makes me wonder sometimes if those people who are trying to lead us are actually unknowingly leading us in the wrong way. So that's why it is very important to learn. And yes, I have my Bible to connect it all too, but this book connects it to there as well. Oh, sorry, I ramble on sometimes. Where was I? All right, so it sure seems like God has a family, right? It's not just in the sense like you and I would think, or not just in the sense of what we know or what we think we know. It seems like the council themselves are the divine beings, gods that ancients worshiped that they shouldn't have worshipped, and they got put in their place over time. It just opens the doors. And then tell me if this makes sense to you. If I'm not making sense to you, let me know, because, like I said, I want to learn myself. All right, where was I? So if we go over here to, okay, God, Elohim, stands in the divine assembly. He administers judgment in the midst of the gods. I mean, right there again. He stands in the judgment. He administers judgment in the midst of the God. And I believe if you look in the Bible, it says, I'll have my Bible with me next time, right? So you no doubt notice that as he pointed out in chapter 1, the word Elohim occurs twice in this verse. You also probably recognize Elohim as one of God's names, despite the fact the form of the word is plural. In English, we make words plural by adding an s or es or ies. In Hebrew, plurals of masculine nouns end with im. While the word Elohim is plural in form, its meaning can either plural or singular. Most often, over 2,000 times in the Hebrew Bible, is referring to God of Israel. We have words like this in English. For example, sheep can be either singular or plural. Okay, we'll move on. Psalms 82:1 is essentially interesting, especially interesting since Elohim occurs twice in that single verse. In Psalms 82:1, the first Elohim must be singular since the Hebrew grammar has the word as subject of singular verb stands. The second Elohim must be plural since the preposition in front of it, in the midst of, requires more than one. You can't be in the midst of one. The preposition calls for a group, as does the earlier noun assembly. I've got to get me a book thing up here. Like I said, I'm going to get me a digital thing next time. The singular Elohim of Israel presides over an assembly of Elohim. Here's another. I have said, you are gods, Elohim, the sons of the Most High. B'nai Elion, in Hebrew, all of you. The Most High, that's God. So the council of gods are divine gods in a sense. The God is the Most High. Here, let me see. I had it. The sons of God, the Most High, here are clearly called the Elohim, as the pronoun you in verse 6 is plural form in the Hebrew. The text is not clear whether all of the Elohim are under judgment or just some. The idea of Elohim ruling the nations under God's authority is a biblical concept that is described in other passages we'll explore later. For now, it's sufficient that you see clearly that the sons of God are divine beings under the authority of the God of Israel. You see why the psalm threw me for a loop. The first verse has God presiding over an assembly of gods. Doesn't that sound like a pantheon? Something we associate with polytheism, mythology? For that very reason, many English translations obscure the Hebrew verse. For example, the NASB translate me and my Southern accent, it makes it hard for me sometimes. Translates it as God takes his stand in his own congregation. He judges in the midst of the rulers. You notice how that part took out the divine part. There's no need to camouflage what the Hebrew text says. People shouldn't be protected from the Bible. The biblical writers weren't polytheists, but since Psalm 82 generates questions and controversy, we need to spend some time on that. And that's where it's going to go into. I'm going to pull up Psalms 82 right now on here for you guys. I'm going to find the link for it, and I'm going to go over that with you guys real quick. But I'm excited to do this with you guys because I am learning as I go with it. I'm very passionate about this because this is the stuff that brought me back to God. Not God back to me. It brought me back to God. It brought me back to the belief and to know that God is there, that Jesus died for my sins. This is the supernatural realm that I was always told to ignore. The most important part for my salvation. And I bet it is for a lot of others out there that haven't heard it this way, that have been taught in different ways, or are taught not to think of it that way. I mean, I know that translations over time change, and people have changed things, and we just got to have faith the best we can. But that's also why it's very important to have people like this who are much smarter than me, who have been doing this stuff for their whole life, who is a devout Christian. I'll post the link to his YouTube under this so you can check him out. But I will get back for part 2 very soon on this, and I'll have it better set up from now on. I won't do it this way because I've made it very difficult on myself by doing it this way. And that's normally how I learn, though. I learn the hard way. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the Psalms 82 for y'all real quick. Hold on. If I want to find the right one. Let's see here. All right, this one might do. Let's see how different it is in translation. So this is pretty much what this episode was on, trying to show y'all the hidden terms, the hidden things that's been manipulated from us. All right, Psalms 82, a psalm of Asaph. God presides in the great assembly. He renders judgment among the gods. How long will you defend the unjust and show partiality to the wicked? Defend the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. The gods know nothing. They understand nothing. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High, but you will die like mere mortals. You will fall like every other ruler. Rise up, O God, judge the earth for all the nations of your inheritance. And I think this part's very important. The gods know nothing. They understand nothing. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I think it's pretty clear. I mean, to me, that seems pretty clear that God is putting other divine beings in their place and reminding you who is the Most High. Guys, if y'all would like this video, comment on this video, share and tag your friends. It would help us tremendously. We are a very, very small business getting up and started. We need as much help as possible. We are a one-man team pretty much. I have my brother who helps and my wife. But we'll get there. So, got to start somewhere, don't we? My hopes in doing this is to reach the person God needs to reach out there. To the person who's been struggling like I was, that's right in between the belief of knowing God, being close to God, and that disbelief because of the world, because of everything the world is telling you, because of the way people are looking at you. This is who I'm trying to reach. And I'm praying for all of y'all. And I ask that y'all would pray for me as well. Again, this book is The Unseen Realm. And I will start doing a series on it. I am not sure how many parts it will be, as it's a big book. So I'm going to go through and just pick out parts that have helped me and that stand out to me and that help me understand the Bible more, in hopes that it helps you understand the Bible more as well. And like I said, don't hesitate. If you don't agree with me or if you think I'm wrong, feel free, let me know. but I'm not going to fight with you back and forth over. I'm not going to argue with you. If you're one of those people who are trying to argue and tell me this or that, I'm not there. But if you want to talk like civil adults, I'm here. Let's do it. You guys have a wonderful day, and God bless you. And don't forget to like this video.